Hello, so today we're talking about the Elizabethan Ruff. Originally, shirts would have just been like this with a frilled ruff at the neckline. Look at this gorgeous one with the black work around it. Now we're talking about the 1500s, and back then lots of outer dresses would have been made of pure silk or pure wool, so difficult to wash. So they wouldn't really wash the outer garments very often, or if at all, and they'd just take the shirts and chemise or shifts that they were wearing underneath and perhaps scrub the armpits and the collar and wash those instead. Later on, these frilled collars became separate and you were able to just attach them on their own. And so you could just take those and scrub those and own 2 or 3 different styles. But over time, of course, like everything in historical fashion, they became connected to your wealth and status. And the wealthier and more powerful you were, the bigger your collar and cuffs were getting. Collars started to become so big that they needed under supports. And with wires or whalebone structures, they were called support asses, underproppers or pickadilles. After about 1564, the introduction of starch from the continent came to England. This helped to create enormous ruffs that could stand up on their own without that uncomfortable framework. From the 1580s to about the 1610s, this what they called a cartwheel ruff became fashionable. And so, how did they starch a ruff? So, start with the materials. Linen cambric was really good. You could get it fine. It was a mix of cotton and linen. Or something called lawn, which was a very fine woven cotton that resembled linen. Starch made from wheat or rice was mixed with water, rubbed into the material and left to soak. Then it was woven around these wooden battens in a figure of 8 style, then left to dry overnight and starched stiff ready for the next day's wear. Initially, having been wound around the sticks, it would have been then pinned and stitched on the underside to keep them into place. Then all you had to do was sink that into the starched water. The same system that was used, the same as this old medieval hair veil. It was called a gofred headdress or a nebule. Later on, there were these hot irons developed to help set your starched ruff in place. It was then set and sewn to fix it underneath with this fine, what they called gossamer silk, and that originated from a very fine, expensive spider silk. The item became so popular that all classes of people started to wear them, even the servants. It was just so easy to take off and scrub clean for the next day. But if you were very affluent, you could have your ruff made in this pale blue colour, which reflected back onto your face, making you look pale, pallid, translucent and virtually ill, which was a very popular, fashionable look for ladies in the Elizabethan time. The ruff then influenced hairstyles. Ladies had to tie their hair up. Gentlemen had to cut theirs so it didn't mess up their ruff. And Mary Queen of Scots had made this heart-shaped hairstyle and headdresses of the time very popular. She was a very romantic and sensual lady. Later it became the fan ruff, so that you could show off your bosom and your jewellery, but the ruff framed your face. Here's Queen Elizabeth wearing both, a fan ruff and a neck ruff, only the best for her. By the end of the 16th and early 17th century, ruffs started to go out of fashion and it became a collar again. This here was called a falling ruff or a drop ruff. And this here remained fashionable until about the 1630s. So what do you think? Do you think it was a beautiful fashion item, or basically just a pain in the neck? If you've enjoyed another historical fashion story, do join me again next time. Until then, bye!